mentioned in the previous lesson that weather disturbances refer to any disruption of the atmosphere's stable condition, which can manifest through the formation of low-pressure area or different prevailing winds like monsoon and the Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ. You have also learned the classification of cyclones according to strength of wind, changes of weather before, during, and after a typhoon, as well as how to determine the strength of the typhoon through PSWS. Do you know that there's another factor that affects the weather? The moon affects the weather in a way that when it is high in the sky, it creates bulges in the planet's atmosphere that makes changes in the amount of rainfall. Now you will learn more about the moon, its phases that represent the pattern in the changes in its appearance. The moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. A satellite is an object that revolves around a larger object. The moon does not produce its own light. It only reflects the light coming from the sun. Since the moon is revolving around the Earth, the amount of light it reflects from the sun varies as it changes its position. The moon appearance changes from time to time because the lighted portion of the moon changes as it moves around the Earth. This obvious change of the appearance of the moon is known as the phases of the moon. The moon has 8 phases, 4 primary and 4 intermediate phases. The moon goes these 8 phases in almost 30 days. The period it takes for the moon to complete the phases is called the months. A new moon occurs when the moon is between the sun and the earth. In this position, it is the dark side of the moon that is facing the earth. So during this phase, the moon is not visible from the earth. After a new moon, when the moon seems to be growing, it is undergoing a waxing phase. As the moon starts to appear in a semicircular form, waxing crescent starts to appear. This phase of the moon happens when half of the moon phase is light up. Whether it is left or right depends on where you are located on Earth. The first quarter moon rises around the midday and is visible in the day sky. When the moon is between quarter moon and full moon, the moon is called gibbous. During this phase, the most portion of the moon is visible from the sky. Waxing means that the moon is getting bigger. A week after the first quarter moon, you can see the full moon. The full moon appears as an entire circle in the night sky. After the full moon, the waning phase of the moon starts. It is when the moon gets smaller each night. On the third week of the month, half of the moon's lighted side will again be visible. This is called the last quarter. Crescent means less than half of the moon is lighted. The waning crescent is the phase where the moon is nearing to the completion of the cycle. Phases of the moon are often associated with superstitious beliefs. During the ancient times, people believed that the moon has a big influence in their lives. They used the moon as guide. The moon tells when to plant and when to harvest. The moon also gives a sign about the weather. These beliefs and practices were passed from generation to generation in modern times. Some of these beliefs and practices are still part of the lives of some people. However, because of man's continuous search for evidence, what used to be a mere belief yesterday can have a scientific explanation today. Moon and planting. Many farmers believe that planting, when the moon is in a specific phase, may bring good harvests. It is because the growth rate of plants can be affected by them. The different phases of the moon influence the groundwater beneath the earth and affect the movement of fluids within plants. Moon and weather. When the sun, moon, earth lined up and the moon in its perigee, the closest to earth, you can expect lower temperature. This is due to the combined gravitational pull of the moon and the sun. During full moon, it causes a bulge in the ocean.